Sinan, just give us an idea of the Turkish response at this point, because there have been reports in the local press, at least, that there was a slow to respond narrative coming out of Ankara, at least in the early hours.
Possibly, but in reality, this is such a big calamity that even the rather large-scale capacity that Turkey has in order to respond to these type of disasters has just not been up to the task. We're talking about a geography of about 450 kilometers with around 6,000 buildings that have unfortunately collapsed. So no matter what the capacity at hand, it was going to be insufficient to respond to this type of disaster, unfortunately.
I mean, this is something that the president himself has called the worst humanitarian disaster, the worst disaster, in fact, to hit this country in the history of its modern state. And he's talking about since Mustafa Kemal Ataturk took power over 100 years ago. In your mind, how difficult is it going to be for Turkey to even begin to rebuild? Because we're assessing right now some billions of dollars worth of damage. Inflation sitting at 58%, and the currency has been losing value since 2013 at an all-time low on Monday against the dollar.
Correct, but perhaps on even under these circumstances, the positive side is that Turkey has fiscal space compared to many other countries in Europe. Turkey has a low public debt to GDP ratio, around 34%, which means that Turkey has room for fiscal spending, even if that means a sizable increase in the public debt ratio. I think that's what we're looking at. And of course, on top of that, Turkey will need international support. And I very much hope that a major effort will be witnessed.
Do you anticipate that we're going to see the president rolling back some of his promised reforms, talking about the pension age, talking about massive public spending projects that he's wanted to put in place in order to create jobs?
Well, I mean, the pension measures will be put in place. That's something that was promised and that's seen as a populist move before elections. But the others, the large-scale infrastructure projects, starting with Canal Istanbul, which was an idea to create an artificial channel of water linking Istanbul to the Black Sea, will surely be suspended. And going forward, the government will need to be more careful about where it spends the money, given that now there will need to be a major allocation for disaster relief and many of the social programs that will need to be put into place from temporary housing, education, health, and all of that.
Do you think we're going to see a temporary reprieve, if you will, in terms of the criticism that Turkey has been facing, at least on the foreign policy front, as a NATO member, given some of its questionable, perhaps, actions with regards to Sweden and Finland?
Yes, but as you said, it's going to be temporary. So I think that it's, Turkey would look at a few weeks of reprieve. But after that, it will be more back to business on the foreign policy side.